Good morning, everyone. This is Spencer Peterson, Design and Construction, and this is our proposal for Lake Highland Preparatory School. This is our team. This is our COO over here, Grant Peterson. I'm the CEO. We're co-founders. Our design team is right there, and I'll let everyone else introduce themselves.
I'm Kennedy Kramick. I'm going to be the project manager on this job.
Hi, I'm Joe Bertolini. I'm the chief estimator here at SPDC.
Hello everyone, my name is Jackson Dobbs and I will be the safety manager here at the Lake Highland Preparatory School.
All right, so I'm going to start you all with some numbers, really riveting stuff. So at the top there, we got the labor demand per month. It's going to start off kind of slow just as the project gets going, and then it's going to pick up there at the end when the finishes start coming in. All the subcontractors are going to be in there. And then we also got the projected cost per month. That first scary bar there, that's going to be the steel erection. It's usually a pretty expensive part of the project. And then those three other high bars right there, that's going to be our HVAC system, which is about $2.7 million. That's going to include our plumbing as well, which is around $4.6 million, and our electric, which is $2.6 million.
One big thing here at SPDC is our values and vision. We value being safe, dependable, proactive, and safety is always our first priority. Our vision as a company is to be innovative and have integrity through sustainability and diversity.
That's some of our strong internal values, but we also like to consider the values of our client. And we believe we have preparation, innovation, and integrity as shared values with LHPS. Every day we're going to come to site ready for a quality project. We're going to commit to doing submittals on time, show that to the owner, and really show even the student body and community as a whole that we're prepared to deliver a quality project. We have cutting edge innovation and systems in place that'll show to the student body and everyone that thinking outside of the box and being creative isn't something that is frowned upon in this industry. And we have a large workforce and a lot of employees with a lot of families coming together into one family. And we have respect amongst that, and I'd like to think that's a lot how this school is. And of course, as I mentioned, diversity is a big part of that. We want every student to be able to look at our project outside the school windows and see a variety of people and feel that no matter what their passions or dreams are, they can excel in that and do whatever they want to. And of course, on our company end, having a diverse pool of talent helps us deliver the best project possible as well. And I'll give that back to Liliana to talk about our project management culture.
We believe that as a company, we have a unique project management approach. We value collaboration, a low hierarchical workplace, and autonomy. This gives our employees the range to be responsible and have their own responsibility over their projects.
Yeah, and being an employee here at SPDC, I can really speak to that. Liliana here, she's a really approachable CEO. I feel like I can come to her with anything, but she also gives me the rein to do things myself and kind of figure things out.
Our goal is to be a great place to work.
I can speak to that.
So here's some details from our schedule. Pre-bid, we're looking at around 15 months, 459 days. Our final completion is around July 1st. Some of the important milestones are energizing permanent power in May and being substantially watertight later that month. Our post-bid addendum 7 is looking around 19 months. Our final completion is December 2nd. Some of our important milestones are completing parking expansion in November and energizing permanent power in May.
Hello again everyone. This is our most recent design mock-up we have constructed here. And basically what we're seeing is a new parking pickup zone right where Hale and Johnston Hall used to be, and this obviously will be after the demolition of those two buildings. But here at SPDC, we have a really great design team, and I think that's a really strong core and foundation we have as a company, because though on the outside, when everyone sees our signs in front of the site, they see Spencer Peterson Design and Construction, and all they see is construction workers, but they never see any of the designers. So ladies, raise your hand over there. There they are. They are awesome.
All right, and I got some more numbers for you. Try and contain your excitement for me. So we got the price there after the addendum. It's going to be around $38.8 million. The price before the addendum, $36.5 million. We got the general conditions after the addendum. That's around $3.5 million. And then the general conditions before the addendum, and that's $3.1 million. And that's going to include our profit, which is around 3.5%. And also our overhead, which is around 2%, excuse me. And we believe those numbers may seem a little low upon first glance, but here at SPDC, we really strive on efficiency and really trying to get in and get out and make sure we provide the best product for the owners.
Let's dive back into those numbers in our self-performance plan. The building envelope is a big chunk of that estimate, and it's really like a puzzle if a lot of the pieces are made out of really expensive, sensitive curtain wall panels and metal panels. So we chose to do this because we wanted to limit the lines of communication and help coordinate building that puzzle as efficiently as possible. And of course, having a talented workforce and our own equipment will help keep the availability and the ability to keep this on track running fast to get our building watertight.
What Liliana previously stated is for SPDC, safety is our #1 priority. And me being the safety manager, it is my responsibility to enforce this day in and day out. Our workers, our trade, are like family to me and to us and to everyone on site, but what's more important is their family back at home. It's my job, it's their job to make sure they get to go see their loved ones. And with that being our priority, we have been a step diamond 6 years in a row. With this project being on a school campus, we have been we will be very community conscious with all the schooling going around, and we're gonna have to be quiet, we're gonna have to reduce noise, and also reduce dust for people walking around the campus and bordering the project.
Yeah, and piggybacking off what Jackson is saying, here at SPDC, we really see safety and quality control as one and the same. We get this quality control, and it's really about zero litigation. That's a big policy here at SPDC. We want to get things right the first time because it's much cheaper to do it right the first time rather than having to come back a second time, third time, and fix things that keep breaking. And also that comes along with working with the architect, because we understand that usually there's only one architect per building, and so mistakes are going to happen on those drawings, but we really strive to see those problems through and solve them with the architect and work together with them to provide the owners the best service we can.
Exactly. Thank you, Joe. Some other big topics that are very important to me being the safety manager on site is heat-related illness. Knowing that this job will be in Central Florida, it's going to be very hot, it's going to be very muggy, it's going to be very humid, and especially when these workers are working on a top deck and the sun's beating down, they're very susceptible to pass out and get sick, and I do not want that to happen on my job site. So with this being an act, I decided to incorporate the buddy system and make sure that every worker has a guy next to them and they're making sure they're drinking water every 15 minutes. This helps everyone out, it keeps people healthy, and it doesn't let them pass out on the job. Another big issue that we can run into with this project being 4 stories is falling injuries. Falling is the #1 leading causing injury in the construction industry. So with that being said, whenever an employee has to go 6 feet up into the air, they have to be tying off. Another issue with this project, with the demolition of Hale and Johnston Hall, is the asbestos in both of those buildings. With this, we combated it by getting garbage chutes to the windows where asbestos is located, and we also have waste container liners so that when the garbage trucks take the asbestos to a hazardous dump, there's no asbestos flying in the air, there's no asbestos getting into the school campus, and we are overall safe, and everyone is going to be healthy.
Thank you, Jackson. So as you can see, there's a variety of ways that we're going to be able to help this project and demonstrate value. And we want to get every end user involved from day one. That's why we've included a notice letter to the parents to get parents involved, get students involved, let them see what's going on, help you guys out in communicating with your parents and students, and really get this project moving with some momentum.
Just to wrap things up, I think what makes SPD stand out is our unique workforce. Everyone utilizes their special talents and has responsibility to get the job done. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for your team's time and the amount of effort that you've put into looking into our project. One of the things that we'd like to just kind of start with is just being mindful of our current business environment with cost escalations. And I wanted to see in your pricing, how have you approached cost escalation, and what kind of conversations have you been having with trade partners in terms of ensuring that you can commit to your cost?
Well, that's a great question, and pricing is increasing, and also lead times are a problem as well. So we believe acquiring those materials that we need early and trying to get those pricings before they go back up and lead times go back up, because you never really know in today's climate. So we try and be proactive with that.
Yes. I can add on to that a little.
Yeah, of course.
Even speaking, especially in the electrical department and switchgear, speaking with some trade professionals, really the lead is so far out that we don't know where the price will be maybe by the time we get it. So really communicating, trying to lock in a good deal and have some wiggle room to where we can still provide the project to the owner without escalating things out of control. It's really a big deal, and obviously it's all communication. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got one. I'm noticing that you all are hosting a 1-hour presentation and Q&A on April 4th. What's the plan behind that, and what sort of attendance do you expect to get?
I could answer to that. With us, just including the community and especially the school campus, holding that Q&A, we can talk about the building, what's in it, how it was built, and just essentially, people always want to know what's going on. What does this building stand for? What is it for? How's it going to be used on the school campus? And just things like that.
Yeah, and also this building is not going to be for us. You know, this building is for the owners. This building is a place of knowledge for the students, and we really try and strive to build a building that people are going to be proud to call their own school.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Your company made it a big deal about power on date, so I'm just wondering if the lead times of the switchgear push out further than your power on date. What's your plan?
Our plan is to figure out what we need and do it proactively and early so this doesn't happen. We started reaching out to some trade subcontractors, and once we have those numbers for sure and locked in, we can adjust the schedule accordingly.
Thank you.
So you'd mentioned that your Diamond Step, is that for your company personally? And if it is, what work are you self-performing? And if it's not for your personal company, how are you going to hold your subcontractors to that Diamond Step level of safety?
That's a very good question. Well, being the Diamond Company, we just no injuries on site, and just trying to keep everything safe with housekeeping and self-performing wise. I believe we self-perform concrete, and we try and hold every single sub to our standards. If we're not going to hire them, if they will not uphold the Diamond standard, and there's no use to hire someone who is going to come in and ruin what we stand for.
And I believe it speaks a lot to our initial subcontractor onboarding things. I mean, we're going to make sure our subcontractors are bought in, and it's a culture that everyone's going to be committed to, because it comes down to a lot of the small things, of course, and things that people really don't think about when you talk about good safety culture.
You're self-performing the curtain wall. Is that going to be stick-built or panelized?
It's going to be prefabricated panels.
You mentioned that one of your core values is sustainability. What are some examples of sustainable practices you're implementing in the building?
Trying to plan ahead, like we said, and get that schedule going, and make sure people are coming in and getting out, and just trying our best on that front.
And obviously looking at more from like the process on site, our waste management, having an accessibility for waste everywhere on every floor, having places for water bottles, different types of materials, even whether it's the landscaping, removing trees and trying to at least keep them salvageable to be reused somewhere else, or just having materials from the buildings that are to be demolished. There's plenty of ways.
I'll chime in on that too. Assembling the site utilization plan, we have 3 dumps in one of our original drawings, and concrete, steel, and then other hazardous waste. So we really try and make sure that whatever we can recycle will be recycled.
Schedule question for you. We've been approached by the stakeholders to review a potential opportunity to take 30 days out of the schedule. Part 1 is, can you do it? And if you can, what would be the 3 activities that you would accelerate?
Let me think about that for a second. So take 30 days out of the schedule. I think we could definitely figure out how to accelerate the interior finishes and more sequencing between the floors. I have to get back to you on that question, but I think we could definitely do it.
And to add on to it, even the superstructure phase, the concrete, with all the curing times, it's almost built in 60 days. So if we can find an additive to speed up that 28-day strength, or even sequence the steel erection to get one side to a higher level faster, and so we can plumb that building and start creating the decks and concrete faster, there's definitely room to erase some days.
I got a question here for Jackson. You mentioned the buddy system during the warmer months. What's your plan to implement that with your trade contractors?
Oh, perfect question. So every one day out of the week, I expect all the workers who are working on site to get there an hour early, and me being the safety manager, I'm going to conduct kind of like a meeting just so that we get everyone on board. And they're going to have to come up to me, sign off with their buddy, so that I know when I go check on site that they're working with their proper buddy and they're both drinking water.
Hey, Jackson, to piggyback on that, that all sounds great, but are you going to give us a change order for all of your employees on this job showing up an hour early to do these checks? Because you're going to have to pay them to do that.
That's a very good question. I will have to pay them, but I mean, that's, if we want to keep a diamond level of safety, that's just one of those things that our company, that means a lot to us, so I will pay them to come in an hour early and know that they're going to be safe, and I think that's one of the reasons why our employees work for us, is because they know they're going to be safe. They trust their friends on site, they trust the workers around them, and which is why we are Step Diamond.
Yeah, and like we said, profit is not our #1 priority. Safety is our #1 priority. We want to make sure these people are going home and they enjoy and they feel safe where they are in their workplace, where they spend a majority of their time.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to add on to it, obviously, even having employees that are willing and want to come to work even an hour earlier, that speaks a lot to what our culture is going to be like and the benefits that could provide over a 19-month project like this.
So we're still going to get an 8 or 10 hour day production plus the hour early for hydration?
Well, yes, this is just one day a week too. This is that one day a week where they're going to come in just an hour early, and they can stretch out, they can do their stretch and flex, they can do that, and then I'm going to have my speaker and I'm going to talk, and I'm just going to go all over the weekly things, all over the action items, all those workers should know. Because if those don't get covered, people always get lazy, people mess up, and then people get hurt, and it's on our backs to solve that issue.
And you're on site every day?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will be on site for the whole project.
Can you speak a little bit to the staffing on the project in terms of, who will be a full-time employee and any shared responsibilities that the assigned staff will have?
Yeah.
We have a full-time project manager on the project at all times, and then the safety manager will always be on site. We have a full-time superintendent who's sitting just over there, and then a full-time estimator on the project as well.
And we have about 15 support staff, field engineers, project engineers,
Yep.
quality control members.
Yep.
Working on the project.
And those field engineers will be on site for the duration of the project. Project engineer will be on site for the duration of the project. The only people that will only be there for a little bit are like the CAD operators and obviously our subbed out rod busters and employees like that.
And of course, like our CEO and COO, they'll be on the project at the beginning and end to see that it gets to a good start and gets to a good finish, but probably won't be involved as much during the meat of the project.
Following up on that, why do you need a full-time estimator on the project?
I'll actually be only 4 months into this project, and I'll actually be comfortable in the air conditioning. I guess that's what I like about it. I guess I picked the right career.
Yeah, I believe we only build 4 months for it,
Yeah,
but he'll be available if anything comes up that needs to be estimated or changed.
Yes.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about the softwares you intend to use on this project? Are you doing anything with modeling or BIM for coordination?
Yes, we do, but I am not the one you want to talk to that. We have experts in our company that are sitting just behind you that are not on stage today that use a certain kind of design software, nothing like Bluebeam of that sort, but how we got them incorporated into our company was originally they were interior designers, and we just kind of wanted to take everything to the next level because interior designers really look at the aesthetic of things, and you guys being the owners and stakeholders, you're putting a lot of money and time into this, and we want to make sure you see a finished product of where your money is going to.
Just to add on to what Jackson said, we also have a part-time BIM manager who will be doing BIM for the project and clash detection and using technology to help us build.
Can you further elaborate on the working relationship between the design folks within your firm and our architect?
Yes, so I can kind of speak to that. So our design side, it's more really for our benefit, because if we have questions about the drawings or the plans, we don't want to go straight to the architect. The architect's very busy and probably has many other things to do. So we have design people in-house who can interpret things, kind of understand. Some of them have architect education. They understand the mindset and are more able to identify things maybe than some of our construction employees. And that's kind of, they help us in that regard, and then they help us, of course, in designing things before maybe we have to go to the architect with an actual issue.
Yeah, like Kennedy said, I'm bugging the architect all the time, sending them RFIs and making sure everything's correctly in order for you folks.
So the market here in Central Florida is very saturated. If you drive around, there's cranes everywhere. I believe I counted 19 the other day just on the Disney complex alone. What's your plan to ensure that our job is actually fully staffed with qualified personnel that can deliver on time? Because enrollment's not going down, people moving to the area is not going down, and opening this on time is absolutely paramount to us.
I think I can speak to that some. We've already started identifying some subcontractors and some partners that we've worked in the past in the area, whether that would be inspection groups or a certain trade that can handle a scope of the work. And obviously being in that communication early, getting them involved so they understand this potential project, we understand the project, just getting people invested, that'll help in having that availability there later and just coordinating it from day one. Yes, it is very saturated, and that also kind of goes into equipment, just looking into equipment, looking at what's available in this area specifically, and going from there and planning even months before, 2 or 3 months before now even.
And we really pride ourselves on our relationships with our owners and our subcontractors. We just really want to be a general contractor that people want to work for and people want to work with.
Exactly. Every worker's a priority at SPDC, and we stand for that. If you treat your employees right, they'll want to stay and they'll want to work for their whole lives.
Your site plan shows or proposes using an existing parking lot for employee parking and then shuttling or having the employees walk over to the job site. Does your proposal include rework to that existing parking lot after you're done using it for construction parking, if it's got to be restriped or dressed up in any way? Is that money in the proposal?
I don't believe it's in the proposal, but we've talked about taking some before and after pictures just to see what type of damage, if there is any, that goes on in all the streets and all the areas that we're using. And like I said, we really pride ourselves in our relationships, and we're not going to leave it a mess when we leave. We want to make sure that we leave it better than we found it.
And another thing too to add on to that is I did price out on the general conditions a cleanup of the parking lot post of the job. So, and I think it was about for 1,000 to 2,000 square feet of that parking lot. So I doubt that our contractors will leave that big of a mess of Mountain Dew bottles and water bottles all over the dirt parking lot. But we will pick all those up, sir.
I think that just about concludes our Q&A time. So I appreciate again your time and your presentation today.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Look
much.
forward to working with you.